Hello, I'm going to be looking at if Putin is ever going to face The Hague. I feel like Roy Orbison with my glasses, but it really does help my eyes. I have a light sensitivity and it's kind of bright, and I'm trying to keep my eyesight. All right. Is Putin, quick reading for Friday here, is he ever going to face The Hague? Yes or no as a likelihood as of this reading? Does it look like he's ever going to face The Hague, Putin? Well, this looks like there's going to have to be some kind of an action that's taken. Something has not been acted upon about correcting his uh, uh, hostilities, um, and his lack of well, self-control. You know, he just does what he wants. So I look at this as like there's potential for it, but there would have to be certain other things that haven't yet been enacted, haven't yet been kind of set up and acted upon. It is yet to be done. That would open that window. So it remains an open possibility to me. Um, but it does show that certain actions would be required before we'd see that happen to correct his behavior. There's like it's on hold for right now, but we're reaching a crossroads. That is a crossroads card with the Two of Swords. So we had Strength and the Two of Swords, and then we have the Queen of Cups here and the Magician. This is another nation to me. This is like someone taking that initiative, someone that would be working on human rights with that Queen of Cups, very compassionate, empathetic card, and manifesting, taking action on that crossroads. Again, I think this would be a certain nation, Queen of Cups, that would seek that out. And maybe even a feminine energy that leads that in actuality, like there could be a woman that works to do this. We have the devil. Gee, I wonder who that is. And we have the Ace of Cups. So this shows that it's a very deeply emotionally invested um, circumstance, and something new as well that opens up to do with tyranny with the devil, and those who, yeah, the persons chained to the devil are those not only that have to live under that oppression, but it's the people that benefit from it and that actively seek the will of the oppressor upon society. They're doing it because they get a benefit for it. So there's a great deal of emotion, though, I feel like opening up on the people that are around him first. It could be that those come under scrutiny first. There's an emotional, uh, deeply sudden outpouring of interest to see, I think, not only Putin, but those that had set him up and kept him in power taken to task. It's like the mood isn't quite there yet, believe it or don't, but this will be really ripe for when I feel like a woman may end up seeking this. And this is all still a possibility. The Three of Pentacles. Here we have a group effort. I think that this would honestly be more than one government going, putting him to the Hague in the future. And there's a great deal of stress, and from feeling overwhelmed by him. I think also initially three countries that have been targeted, and um, the Ukraine and others that could come together and do this. There's more than one that seek to bring him to task for great burden, over overwhelming burdens he has placed upon them. And I get any associates, uh, they're the people that the oligarchs and things like that with that Nine of Pentacles. This is a person that lives independently wealthy, and they supported him. So I think, again, I'm getting a mirror of the feeling of the support around him and getting to him, like it's coming. It's going to come together. But there's something that has yet to come to pass. And I feel like we're being shown with the cards that we're on the brink of it, with that crossroads of the Two of Swords. And then the feminine energy that leads some sort of effort to bring him to task to the Hague for human rights violations. I'll have to read more about what the requirements are, but it looks like it's a distinct possibility. And we see worry, I think, and a lack of sleep. So I think that they will likely face that. They don't want to be poor. We have the Nine of Swords and the Five of Pentacles after we had the cards of independent wealth and partnership with the Two of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. And here we see that energy then become very nervous, very fatigued, not sleeping, and in some kind of a decline. Now, if that isn't the people that are being persecuted and what they've gone through, it could be, I think, Putin and company that are going to be concerned and nervous about this action. And I felt initially that it is Putin and his oligarchs and helpers being the ones that start sweating. We see an acceleration here, and we have around a business model person, somebody that's a businessman. It makes me think of that one guy, Bill Browder, or someone like him, potentially bringing some activity. It could also be the activities of a particular oligarch of Putin's comes under scrutiny with that King of Pentacles, that Eight of Wands. And well, yeah, and because we did have it where we were looking at those that supported him fearing, I think, and feeling like they're in decline and they're worried, and it's quickening, especially for, okay, I think for one of his oligarchs in particular, we should watch that. I think that this King of Pentacles will pop up, be the poster boy for them. Yeah, and it has to do with the Nine of Swords. I'm sorry, with the Seven of Swords. Yeah, and the Nine of Wands. And this is often associated with sneakiness, taking things away, theft. and taking rights away, invading, and lies and deception. And someone that's trying is at their last stand as well, someone that is trying to keep the boundary. Um, I think this definitely will be about holding them to account for this behavior, for lies and deceit, and doing certain things where there's theft or there's just dishonesty with what they're up to, and it causes another person to have to another country rather to have to be on defense, like Ukraine and other Eastern European nations. Um, but there's theft here. And I suppose that when you've got it next to the oligarch that's starting to sweat it out, what's he been doing? Some kind of theft there. Again, it feels like their energy to withstand the onslaught of public global society looks like it's on its last legs. And I do feel like they get called out. So I do think there's a very strong possibility in the future of them being called out and it being set up. Here we have the card of home, and here we have movement and travel, the card of one's domestic situation. I'm being visited by my kitty cat. So I do think that these are other nations that will, seek this. To me, this is them seeking it, taking action to bring harmony to homelands and peace, taking action. We get the Knight of Wands and the Nine of Cups. I've got my kitty cat now. So I think so. I think so. I think they will seek to bring them in the future. I think it's a really strong likelihood at this point. Okay. Okay, so I'm asking, show us what Donald Trump and Putin are talking about that they don't want the rest of us to know about. And I am using the governance deck by Trish James. What are Putin and Trump talking about in Alaska right now? And this is recorded August the 15th at 2:06 p.m. Pacific time. What are they discussing that they really don't want us to know about? I'm going to ask that of the Trish James cards and see what we get. See if it works out. What are the two of them? It's too bad that lightning just couldn't come down. You've got them both in one place, right? That would just be so convenient. See what we get. National defense paired with internal adversary. So they're talking about, I think, keeping control within one's nation. And for Trump, it's taking control, the internal adversary. And we have a flag of America here within. The enemy is within. And national defense. He's using also our National Guard against us. So they're discussing that. and saying that his enemies are those that I think he's putting the National Guard on. I think he's talking about that. National defense and internal adversary. And what does this character have on his top here? All my different glasses. What does that say? Enemy. Yeah. So the enemy within. And that is a word that he has even, a coin, a turn of phrase that he has used, I believe, or that has been used about him, maybe both. External influence. I feel like these are Europe and other nations. External influence. That would both be an external influence to Putin and Trump, rest of the world, and not just Europe, but primarily. Disappointing results. They're talking about how disappointed they are, I think, in others, I think not coming around to their way, and also with results against stopping, I think, Ukraine and the external influences that are helping it. Also, I think there must be some feelings for Trump that he feels disappointed, perhaps in results where protests are concerned. There's something against the American people that he's trying to do, trying to get to those that he's trying to pull out from within us. It's a friggin' sick fantasy. And there's a feeling of disappointment for them both, I would say. Fall from grace and trusted advisor. Well, here we are talking some paranoia. They may discuss trusted advisors that may not be doing their job, or someone maybe that they in particularly, and I'm thinking Putin, doesn't trust, or they're talking about scandals that are plaguing their advisors. And I feel like this is like, oh, I'm going to have to get rid of so and so. It almost feels like, what would you? I hope they're not sharing that kind of thing. And if anyone's doing it, it's going to be Trump. But there's fall from grace, trusted advisor. Bottomless money pit and housing and infrastructure. Was this some more? This just looks like money laundering through real estate. Seriously. Bottomless money pit, housing and infrastructure. How can we launder money? But also about why they probably don't put any money toward infrastructure. Like it's a waste of time. It would be a money pit. You're always going to be putting money into that. Better to cut that and put it over here. It also feels like that stingy perspective of where you don't invest in the country and you look at it as being a bottomless money pit rather than your own appetite, if that's your, as a leader. There's discussion about economic challenge, which would make sense to both Russia and America, and it's paired with borders and deportation. So Trump is talking about how his little deportation, his little dictator wannabe kiss Vlad's booty is going. He's talking about his little issues with the economy and the borders and deportation. And also, he should be, if he was intelligent, saying how what he's done is affecting our economy, because you get rid of the workers that with the food and all of that, prices go up. I'm getting collective action. This is the protesters. Stop, it says. Collective action. They're discussing about what to do about protesters, and people that want actual justice, and being an unwavering stance. Never give in to them. There's that doubling down. Never going to give in to them. And there's that cruelty of, I'm going to turn the forces on you. I'm going to turn the national uh, uh, security here, the national defense on you, and put them in your cities. Not sustainable, however, and paired with providing intervention. So he's maybe realizing that he can't do that forever, as much as he would like to leave them there, and looking for, I think, some sort of other means. I think he knows that he only has a limited time to do this, so he's trying to, I don't know, make the most of that. Dodging the question paired with no. So there's certain things that are that are not being satisfied where both parties are concerned here. There is elusiveness, dodging the question, and just not being willing to answer something in particular. Interesting. We get united front. They both come off like they're in agreement, the two of them. And stepping down, united front, stepping down. I think that they're going to say that they think that Zelensky should step down, or there's some sort of um, I just feel I'm getting something from this. There's the two of them. I'm feeling Zelensky. I'm feeling the stepping down. They're wanting to pressure, I think, him to lose confidence and and fall back a bit, to mess with him. And I'm getting tyrannical leadership. I guess they're talking about themselves more, and to gain approval, that you have to be a tyrant. They'll love you for it. And what they have to do to keep their approval rating. There's a delusion, and they're both fluffing their feathers and posturing like oh, we're the big boys on the planet. We get briefed in command, and succession plan. Information is definitely being shared here. What is that, though? Balancing priorities. Oh, good luck there between the two of them. And shifting dynamics. Foreign threats. Selfish agenda. So they're talking about their own agendas, very selfish, their own selfish agendas, and the foreign threats and internal, and what they're up to trying to intervene and stop that, and their own selfish agendas. They're kind of showing off, it looks like. Fraudulent conduct. There's some criminality going on here, and they're misrepresenting what they're doing exactly. And domestic priority. Well, the fraudulent conduct with the domestic priority, I think saying that it's crime and sending in the guards when there's no emergency like that. And I'm sure there's also more fraudulent conduct with, if you look at what he's doing domestically within our own country. Failed negotiation. That's what he's going to come away with, and big white flag, and relentless determination. I think that's Putin. And I think Trump is going to want to discuss those failed negotiations because Trump wants to look good, but I don't think he's going to. I think Putin is going to come away looking like he's more determined, making Trump look kind of small, and definitely like he's the fanboy. Trump may not like that at the end. Pursuit of control, just what I was talking about, and misleading headlines. He's going to try to control the press and more of the media and what they say and the kind of headlines that they put out. We already know that, but I think we can expect an even more authoritarian effort. And Vladimir may be very well encouraging him to control your newspapers, control the headlines. Don't let them say that about you. In discussing about his little thing of sending in our soldiers against our own neighborhoods. Corruption revealed and global impact. This makes me feel like we're stepping away and they're trying to protect their corruption because they know it would have a global impact. And it's become, I think, an even greater, circumstance, an even hotter, more dire situation for them to try and control that, both of them, because they're both taking big, big risks that are foolish again and again. And one of these times, they're not going to have the ability to back that up, and it's going to matter. It's going to matter at some point. I get beneficial impact. That's what they're trying to do for each other. You scratch my back, I'll, do this for you. And bound by allegiance. I think this is Trump and bound by allegiance to Putin. I do. I feel like he's bound by allegiance to try and help him. Because I think beneficial impact, I think that Putin's done something for him in the past. And Putin certainly probably has all kinds of compromat on him. I'm getting open negotiations. I think Trump wants more of this open negotiation and not looking final like he didn't get something resolved. And there's a leadership battle here. And not just between him and Putin, but also, of course, Zelensky. But there's a little friction there about this continuing with these negotiations to do with Putin's invasion of Ukraine. But easily bought money and market volatility. It looks like a plan to mess and create a market situation that they can profit off of. Easily bought, where Trump plays with the Wall Street. Maybe that's also part of his instruction from Putin after this. For money and power. Yeah, I think so. Strained relations. But I think that there's something after this that is going to soar with both of them. There's a bit, and I think it's just competition, their own egos. But there's strained relations there. So what looks pretty comfy right now and all jolly and all that is going to sour. There's going to be a souring from this. Mourning a loss. Well, who's going to pass? Judgmental scrutiny. So there's a loss there, and feeling that that person's judging you, that you're coming under their, or that you're coming under judgment or being held to judgment or scrutiny because of them. Some kind of loss. And you go under the microscope. Forced hand. Feels like someone feels stabbed in the back between the two of them. Energy management, something where they're going to feel like you've kind of forced me to have to accept something where energy or energy market or oil or whatever is concerned that I don't really want to do. And that kind of sours something between the two of them. Change in focus and the blame game. They're going to blame each other. This is going to become something that they can use for their own uh, distancing from blame for the public. Like, oh, he let me down. He didn't do what he said he was going to do. Military control and isolated outcast. I think both of them are going to end up this way for using the military the way that they have, and they won't have each other. There's then being isolating your country as well. And Trump's still trying to do that, to isolate America and make us an outcast with the militarization of our country. We are getting policy overhaul. Maybe this is where we've got people like Gavin Newsom redistricting California in response. And I get, yes, expect more of that. So expect more policy overhaul in the face while Trump's doing this, trying to exercise more authoritarianism. He's selling secrets, by the way. Deal made. So he's exchanging something there with him, selling secrets of some kind. And retains authority, economic growth, deliberately obscuring, that sounds like both of them, and mounting tension. So they're trying, again, to distance themselves from the tension that is building between them. Lacking control. We got strings here, the puppet strings. Trade war. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Power of persuasion. They're causing fluctuation in the world markets and environment concerns. I think this is the earth changes going on with all the flooding, with the fires happening around the world right now. And both of our countries are going to be hard hit. They already are right now in America. And this is where the domestic issues of them not taking care of that is going to sour for them, especially Trump. And like Wisconsin, he's not responding to any of that. He's not even focused on it. We get reversing course and global governance, controlled speech. They're trying to get, both of them are vying for control of the world and knowledge withheld. They're keeping things. This is definitely a conspiracy. There's a conspiracy here. And they're selling each other secrets, but what a strange relationship. Reversing course and trying to global governance, controlled speech, knowledge withheld, shadow operation. Yeah, there's stuff going on underneath the surface of all of these things and strategic move. Seeds of prosperity with outside the trusted circle. I just feel like the financial growth isn't able to kind of grow because we are so created, our government people have isolated us and we're outside that trusted circle. Therefore, like the tourism and things like that, it's just not growing. So the economy, I think, is like stalling, or it's just not, it's not very healthy. It's not very lush. Shifting alliances and targeted attack. Hmm. Power shift. Covert corruption. So this is showing the covert corruption, I think, in both governments, but especially Trump right now. This power shift, targeted attack, shifting alliances, empty promises, people realizing that they've been had, um, voice of the people, and joining and unifying actually America. Trump could actually unify America at some point for those that actually wake up and join the democracy movement. And more people are. And I see that happening with those cards. They try to show like they've got good intentions, but there are intimidation tactics. They say they're doing something good, but it's actually to intimidate, and that they're working on some sort of actually doing something, fixing a problem. This is shaping the future, but more as authoritarianism and difficult decision, something coming up. Improved situation, communist country, successful outcome, interim placeholder. Something, I think Russia getting something there. Health regulation, concede defeat. Somebody's going to step back. There's a health situation. Now, this has got to be one of the two of them. Negative impact. Liberation prevails. We're going to be liberated. I think both of them are going to have some kind, honestly, there's a health crisis coming up for both. So let's just put that on the shelf and wait and see how this comes about. We're going to need to keep a watch of that into the foreseeable future, because I really believe that one is linked to the other. All right. If you appreciate readings like this, please give me a thumbs up. I'll see you on Sunday for the live. Bye-bye.